Speaking on BBC Radio 4 Today programme, the Tory MP took a swipe at committee chairman Hilary Benn for suggesting that going down the same route as Norway in a post-Brexit deal with the EU would be the best option for the UK. Mr. Chop argued that the great advantage of leaving the Brussels bloc was so that UK businesses who do not deal with the EU would be finally freed by EU regulations, something the Norway option would not allow. He said, "Businesses that do business with Europe will have to follow their rules if they wish to sell into their market, but a lot of UK businesses don't do business with Europe and they would be freed from European regulations and they will be able to step into overseas markets. That's the great advantage of leaving the European Union and all the bureaucratic controls that it entails." UK Parliament Brexit News. Christopher Chop tears apart Remainers' latest Brexit report. "I think the Norway option is the worst of all worlds, and what worries me about this report is that by concentrating on the negative approach that somehow it's all going to fail and that we're going to be forced to go back to a customs union and remain in the EEA, that is effectively enfeebling our negotiators now. What we want is a positive vision for the future, and the committee by a majority has decided that they really wish to give succor to those who want to keep us hang on with our bootstraps onto the EU without the power to change it." Arch Remainer Hilary Benn, who fought for the approval of the latest committee's report, argued that allowing the UK to remain in the customs union and the EEA, like Norway, would give businesses the opportunity to continue to employ EU workers in the future, something UK businesses are worried about, he claimed. Mr. Benn said, "The Prime Minister now accepts that we are going to maintain pretty close alignment because otherwise if we diverge we are going to lose access to a market that is very important to us. Concentrating on the negative approach is effectively enfeebling our negotiators now, Christopher Chop, and if you are going to maintain alignment that means accepting any future changes if you want to continue to sell into that market. The British people voted to leave the European Union. The question now is what kind of future economic relationship we're going to have. And that is where the argument is with the Parliament, inside the Cabinet, and in fairness in the committee that I have the honour to chair. That's what really matters. 'Cause talking to businesses for example, and they are really worried, they could get people from this country and other countries." In the report, published on Wednesday, the committee set 15 tests which it claimed must be achieved by the government to make the deal with the EU in October this year acceptable. It read that the border between Northern Ireland and Ireland must remain completely open with no physical infrastructure, crime and terrorism security arrangements with the EU must remain the same, and there must be no trade tariffs with the EU. It also demanded that there is an institutional decision-making framework to ensure that the UK is able to participate in foreign and security cooperation with the EU in an apparent bid to undermine the UK's new independence. The committee said there must be no border checks for goods and no additional costs for businesses dealing with the EU. In addition, the report suggested that workers from the EU should not be put off from coming to Britain with new immigration arrangements and demanded a free flow of data between the UK and EU.